1 week ago, the Document Foundation, the nonprofit that maintains LibreOffice, published its 2025 annual report. And buried inside the marketing section, past the conference attendance figures and the community statistics, is a number that Microsoft's product managers for Office should find deeply uncomfortable. LibreOffice surpassed 400 million cumulative downloads since 2011, with an average of 28, 6 million downloads per year, and an upward trend reaching over 35 million annual downloads, 400 million cumulative downloads. And the annual download rate is going up, not down. 35 million. In the most recent year, higher than any previous year. On a conservative basis, the Foundation estimates the LibreOffice user base at around 100 million, with a higher reading between 140 and 180 million defensible based on update page visit ratios. 100 to 180 million active users of a free, open source Office suite that Microsoft has been trying to make irrelevant for 15 years. Using a product that does not require subscription, does not send your documents to Microsoft's AI training systems, does not require a Microsoft account, and does not increase its price by 7%, which is what Microsoft 365 did in July 2026. The timing of Microsoft's price increase and LibreOffice's publication of its strongest annual numbers in history is not a coincidence. It is a market dynamic, and it is getting worse for Microsoft every month. In 2025, the Document Foundation received 140,593 donation transactions for a total of $107,780 net of payment processing charges. This represents a substantial increase over the 2 preceding years. Donation transactions had numbered 98,261 in 2023 and 104,430 in 2024, while the corresponding amounts were 1,956 and 1,287,589. Transaction volume therefore grew by approximately 35% year on year. Donations to LibreOffice grew 35% in a single year. Let that settle for a moment. A piece of free software that you are under zero obligation to donate saw its donation rate increase by more than a third in 2025. People who have no financial reason to pay LibreOffice anything are voluntarily contributing more money, more often, than they did in any previous year. This is a leading indicator that download numbers alone do not capture. Donations flow from users who are actively choosing LibreOffice over paid alternatives, who are using it, finding it valuable enough to support, and making the financial calculation that contributing to it is worth doing. The 35% jump in donation transactions in 2025 tracks precisely with the Windows 10 end-of-life transition, which brought hundreds of thousands of Windows users to Linux for the first time and introduced them to LibreOffice as part of the Linux desktop experience. This update arrives as LibreOffice is reaching new heights of popularity, partially from the end of mainstream Windows 10 support from Microsoft, combined with ongoing migrations from US-owned tech products like Google Docs and Microsoft Office. 2 drivers simultaneously. Windows 10 end-of-life pushing users to Linux, where LibreOffice comes pre-installed. And a second driver, European users migrating away from US-owned productivity platforms, including Google Docs and Microsoft 365, as part of the digital sovereignty movement. France has mandated 5 million civil servants move off Microsoft tools. Germany's federal government has required ODF document format. Denmark, Austria, and the Netherlands are pursuing similar directions. Every government workstation that moves to a Linux desktop comes with LibreOffice. Every government mandate for ODF documents benefits LibreOffice, which has natively supported ODF since its inception. What LibreOffice 26.2 actually delivers the product argument. The adoption numbers would matter less if the software were not genuinely capable. But LibreOffice 26.2, released February 4th, 2026 with the 26. 4, maintenance update published June 5th, 2026, represents the strongest version of the software in its 15-year history. LibreOffice 26.2 is focused on improvements that make a difference in daily work and brings better performance, smoother interaction with complex documents, and improved compatibility with files created in other Office software. Whether you're writing reports, managing spreadsheets, or preparing presentations, the experience feels more responsive and reliable. The compatibility focus is the most commercially significant improvement. LibreOffice has always been able to open and edit Microsoft Office formats, Docs, XLSX, PPTX, but the fidelity of that compatibility has historically been a source of frustration. Complex formatting, macros, advanced chart types, and embedded objects have all presented compatibility challenges that made LibreOffice feel like a second-class experience for users working in environments where Microsoft Office format fidelity was essential. 26. 2 continues the systematic improvement of that compatibility. The release notes document specific improvements to docx handling, specific improvements to macro compatibility with VBA code that users migrated from Excel, and specific improvements to chart rendering and presentations opened from PowerPoint format. Each individual improvement is incremental. The cumulative effect across 15 years of releases is a product that handles Microsoft Office files well enough that most users working with standard business documents cannot tell the difference. LibreOffice is the most widely used open source Office suite, serving millions of users worldwide. As a descendant of OpenOffice, it has evolved significantly, offering robust features and excellent compatibility. For most users and organizations, LibreOffice represents the best starting point due to its widespread adoption, extensive documentation, and strong community support. LibreOffice has been officially recognized as a leader in value for 2026 by Capterra. The Capterra Best Value Award is based on user reviews from business customers, not enthusiasts, not open source advocates, but organizations that evaluated LibreOffice for business use and reported their experience. Capterra's methodology cross-references the value for money rating against the functionality rating and ranks accordingly. LibreOffice winning the 2026 Best Value designation means business users at scale are reporting that what LibreOffice provides for its cost, which is 0, exceeds what any competing product provides for its cost. The title of this video says it is getting worse for Microsoft. Let me be specific about the mechanisms making that true. Mechanism 1. Microsoft's price increase creates a comparison that was previously harder to make. When Microsoft 365 was priced at one level and LibreOffice was free, the comparison was pay X for Microsoft, or pay nothing for LibreOffice. That is a compelling value argument, but it required users to weigh cost against capability. When Microsoft raised Microsoft 365 prices by up to 7% in July 2026, the comparison shifted. It is no longer pay X or pay 0. It is pay more than you used to for Microsoft, or pay 0 for LibreOffice that has been getting better every year. The price increase forces a reevaluation of a decision that many users and organizations had made years ago and not revisited. That reevaluation at scale happens at exactly the moment LibreOffice's capabilities are stronger than they have ever been. Mechanism 2. The Windows 10 migration wave is delivering LibreOffice users who never voluntarily chose it. When a user on Windows 10 whose machine cannot run Windows 11 installs Linux, Mint, Zorin OS, or Ubuntu, LibreOffice is already installed. They did not choose LibreOffice over Microsoft Office. They found themselves using it because it came with their new operating system. For many of these users, this is their first extended experience with a non-Microsoft Office suite. The TDF's annual report specifically calls out this dynamic. The end of mainstream Windows 10 support, combined with ongoing migrations from US-owned tech products, is driving LibreOffice to new heights of popularity. The Windows 10 migration is not sending users who deliberately chose LibreOffice. It is creating LibreOffice users who did not expect to become LibreOffice users, and keeping them because the product works well enough for their needs that switching back to a subscription is difficult to justify. Mechanism 3. Government procurement mandates are embedding LibreOffice permanently in public sector workflows. By the 2020s, multiple European jurisdictions have adopted LibreOffice. France's La Suite Numérique, which includes LibreOffice, is the Office software for 5 million French civil servants as the Windows migration proceeds. Germany's ODF mandate requires government documents in a format that LibreOffice handles natively and Microsoft Word handles through compatibility layers. These procurement decisions create organizational habits, training investments, and workflow dependencies around LibreOffice that do not reverse easily. The civil servant who has used LibreOffice Writer for 3 years does not want to relearn Microsoft Word when the political environment shifts. The IT department that has built template libraries and document workflows around ODF does not want to migrate them back to Docs. Institutional adoption of LibreOffice creates institutional stickiness, the same kind of stickiness that has historically protected Microsoft Office, now working in LibreOffice's favor in the governments that have committed to it. Honest coverage of LibreOffice's momentum requires acknowledging the gap that is not closed. The collaboration story is the most significant remaining limitation. While LibreOffice may require occasional workarounds for advanced formatting or collaboration-heavy projects, its strengths, openness, and cost-free availability far outweigh these limitations for research workflows. Real-time collaborative editing, multiple people working in the same document simultaneously, seeing each other's changes as they type, is where Microsoft 365 and Google Docs have a genuine advantage over desktop LibreOffice. LibreOffice's Collabora Online addresses this for enterprise deployments, but it requires server infrastructure that desktop LibreOffice does not. For organizations whose primary use case is real-time collaborative editing on shared documents, LibreOffice's desktop application is not the right tool. Collabora Online or OnlyOffice serve that use case with LibreOffice compatibility underneath. The macro compatibility gap, while narrowing, is still real for heavy Excel users. Complex VBA macros, the kind that enterprise financial modeling, data analysis, and reporting workflows often depend on, do not always run correctly in LibreOffice Calc. The 26.2 release improves this but does not close it entirely. For organizations whose critical workflows depend on complex Excel macros, migration to LibreOffice requires testing and often rewriting those macros, which is a real cost that the license savings must offset. Microsoft's AI integration is a capability that LibreOffice cannot currently match. Microsoft 365. Copilot offers AI-assisted document drafting, email summarization, and data analysis. LibreOffice has no equivalent built-in AI layer, though external tools and plugins can provide some of this functionality. Whether Copilot's AI features are worth their subscription cost is a decision each organization makes individually, but users who have built workflows around Copilot-assisted productivity will find the LibreOffice alternative less complete. Licensing structure, the different plans, Business Basic, Standard, Premium, E3, E5, etc., can be confusing, and some essential features are locked behind higher-tier licenses. This is a Microsoft 365 user review from May 2026 on Capterra. The complaint about confusing licensing plans is one of the most consistent criticisms in Microsoft 365 reviews across every major software review platform. The feature gating, where functionality that organizations need is locked behind enterprise tiers they did not budget for, is a recurring source of frustration that LibreOffice does not produce, because LibreOffice has one tier, free, with everything. Once properly set up, it integrates smoothly into a daily research workflow. While it may require occasional workarounds for advanced formatting or collaboration-heavy projects, its strengths, openness, and cost-free availability far outweigh these limitations. That is a LibreOffice review from April 2026. The phrase, once properly set up, reflects the honest truth that LibreOffice's initial configuration, particularly in enterprise environments, requires more deliberate setup than Microsoft 365's cloud-connected deployment. But far outweigh these limitations reflects the conclusion a growing number of business users are reaching when they add up the cost. Differences, the data sovereignty advantages, and the feature sufficiency for their specific workflows. There is a dimension of the LibreOffice story that rarely gets the attention it deserves: the document format question. By prioritizing open standards and native support for the Open Document Format, ODF, LibreOffice ensures that users have total control over their data without being locked into expensive vendor ecosystems. An increasingly explicit defense of the Open Document Format as the only open standard for Office documents was a key theme of TDF's 2025 public communication. Any other choice is a choice of dependence on a single vendor. Digital sovereignty begins with the document format. When you save a document in Word Docs format, Microsoft's default format, you're creating a file whose specification Microsoft controls. The format is documented and other software can read it, but Microsoft determines what the format supports and how it evolves. When Microsoft adds a feature to Word, it adds new docs elements that other software may not immediately support. The compatibility gap that LibreOffice's users experience with complex docs files exists specifically because Microsoft controls the format and does not need to coordinate with LibreOffice developers before extending it. When you save an ODF, LibreOffice's native format, the specification is controlled by an international standards body. No single company can unilaterally extend it in proprietary ways. A document in ODF will be readable by any ODF-compliant software for as long as that standard exists without depending on any particular company's continued support. Berlin, 8th May 2026. 20 years ago this week, on 3rd May 2006, the Open Document Format cleared its final standardization hurdle. ODF turned 20 years old in 2026. In those 20 years, it has not been obsoleted, abandoned, or controlled by a single vendor's business decisions. A document saved in ODF in 2006 opens correctly in LibreOffice 26.2 in 2026 without any conversion or compatibility work. Whether a docs file created in Word 2007 opens correctly in Word 2026 is a different and more complicated question. Let me be precise about what I mean by getting worse for Microsoft, because hyperbole serves no one. LibreOffice will not replace Microsoft 365 in the enterprise in the next 5 years. Microsoft's cloud integration, its collaboration tools, its AI features, and its 15 years of enterprise sales relationships are not disrupted by an open source Office suite reaching 100 million active users. The Microsoft 365 business is not in crisis. What is getting worse for Microsoft is the calculus at the margin. The organization evaluating a new Office suite contract now has an increasingly capable free alternative to compare against a product that just got 7% more expensive. The government that has adopted a digital sovereignty mandate now has 15 years of stable LibreOffice development and government-level deployments in France, Germany, and Denmark to reference. The Linux user who switched from Windows and found LibreOffice pre-installed and functional for their needs now has one less reason to pay for a Microsoft 365 subscription. At the margin, in the places where Microsoft used to compete uncontested, LibreOffice is now a legitimate contender. The 35% growth in donation transactions, the new highs in annual downloads, the Capterra Best Value designation from business users. These are the signals that the marginal case, the user or organization that could go either way, is going LibreOffice's way more often than it used to. LibreOffice has always been about giving users control. LibreOffice 26. 2 continues that tradition by strengthening support for open document standards, ensuring long-term access to your files, without subscriptions, license restrictions, or vendor lock-in. No subscriptions, no vendor lock-in, no 16. 7% price increase. For 100 to 180 million users, that is the Office suite they chose, and the number is growing.